What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos. So, welcome to a new episode, a special episode of Take It to the Table. I am joined with a full panel today, guys. To my right is someone that reviews AEW and a bit of WWE as well for Wrestling Republic. Is none other than David Sheldon. How you doing today, David?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me. My very first Take It to the Table.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
so excited. I'm so excited for this, man. I've been watching these for ages, and I've always wanted to be on one. So I'm so excited, especially with the topic of today's discussion. So really excited.
Yes, I forgot to say we got two debutantes on the show as well, of course. Which is obviously all down to my diagonal right is none other than Drizzy. He also you might have seen him on the Wrestling Republic Daily Show. How you doing today, Drizzy?
I am good. I'm excited to be here. Fun fact: I love countdowns.
Cool, fair enough. You're in the perfect place and the perfect platform on Ticket to the Table. It is unfiltered, uncensored here. So yeah, you have nothing to worry about. Don't worry. You can let it all out and everything else. And of course, last but not least, one of the OGs of Ticket to the Table down below is none other than Soul from the Soul Sessions. How you doing today, Soul?
Chaos, I'm scared there's new people.
You heard what we did to Ben. You heard what we did to Ben, huh?
We're taking over now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Who's the third man? Who's the third man?
Oh my gosh.
It's me, Austin.
It was me all along, damn it.
Oh my god, it's Sean Ross Sapp.
I love Sean Ross Sapp. He's cool. He's funny. But yeah, we've got a jam-packed episode today. We got, like I said, a special one. We're going to be doing a top 10. You know what Take It to the Table always does. We always we usually do the top 10 best and worst pay-per-views. You may have seen it from last year. Don't worry, there's one going to be coming through this year as well. But today we're going to do our top 10 best and top 5 worst matches that we've seen so far of the year. So which is obviously the halfway point. It's July now, so we just thought, let's do a little mid-season countdown, if you will. But we're just gonna be talking about matches, not pay-per-views. You wait till the end of the year for that one. So yeah, it's gonna be jam-packed as always. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Without further ado, let us take it to the table. All right. Okay. So we're gonna start off with our top 10 best. Yeah, actually, I forgot I actually got a graphic on here for this. 1 second.
Is that where my paychecks went?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. All the graphics, everything went to Take It to the Table. I'm sorry.
Sorry to ruin your immediate graphic, Chaos, but I believe we do have some honorable mentions before we get to the top 10s.
Oh, you want to do that first? Okay, fine.
Well, I don't mind. We can start with 10, either whatever way you'd like to.
Chaos, the new people are going against the medium. They're fighting back.
Told you.
I don't know how it works. We go with you, Chaos.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah. We'll flip it around. We'll start with number 10, and then we'll do the honorable mentions at the end, and just blitz through those.
Okay.
So yeah. So without further ado, let's start with I'll be nice to the debutantes. David, what is your number 10?
So my number 10 match first of all, to say, unbelievable year for wrestling. This was one of the hardest
100%.
lists I've ever put together. I've given more 5-star matches for the first half of this year than I've given. Obviously, I haven't worked for Wrestling Republic long, but even before that, I still rate matches, more than I've given for the entirety of years in the past. It's been such a good year. My number 10 this year is a WWE match. It is from Backlash, and it is Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. Is my number 10 match of the year. Obviously, the main crux of Backlash, the reason most people remember that show, is Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. That is not on my list, even though it was immense amounts of fun and I loved it to pieces. This was my favorite match from that show. Just terrific work from both of these women. Bianca Belair is one of the best big match wrestlers in the world. Io Sky is just as well up there. Such a worthy Money in the Bank winner. Terrific work. Really loved the finish with Bayley, those slight dissensions. And it was also really fun to just see the crowd for once just say no and just boo Bianca and cheer Io. And that was really fun to see how the dynamic shifted, because Bianca went with it and had fun with it. And what we got out of it was a really, really terrific wrestling match. That one-handed power hold was tasty. Just beautiful wrestling. Beautiful wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was a surprisingly good match. Better than I knew it was gonna be good because I love Io Sky. I feel like they need to give her the world, and so far they're doing that with the Money in the Bank briefcase. But yeah, it definitely exceeded my expectations, that match. As well as, yeah, Bianca just handled the heel because she was a heel before she came to the main roster, wasn't she? She was a heel in NXT, if I recall.
Yeah, she did heel work in NXT.
So yeah, it's nothing new to her. Like, she can handle it, and obviously it looks like they're pitching towards that later down the line with her on SmackDown. So now that's a fair number 10. Fair enough. Drizzy, what is your number 10, please?
Number 10 for me. I'm a big story person. So if you have a bad story, you're going to take me out of a match. If you have a great story, you're going to pull me in even more. My number 10, MJF versus Bryan Danielson at AEW Revolution. A very, I don't want to say bad build, but the build took me out of the match altogether. But by the time we got to the match,
Yeah.
we were downhill rolling from the whole MJF can't wrestle, and he proved that he's more than capable of wrestling and keeping up with Bryan Danielson. My bad. It's hard to get out of that.
That's fine. I still get used to it. I still have trouble.
Everyone does it, my friend, even all these years later.
And even after they went time limit and we had to restart it, and MJF, classic MJF fashion, able to steal it, pull it out, emotionally had me in the palm of his hands. Didn't have me in the palm of my hands as some of these other matches do, but it had me. So that is my number 10.
Fair play. Yeah, that's a great shot. Yeah, that match was awesome. I agree with the build was because it was something that we've seen like so many times when it comes to these, when they know that the pay-per-view is so far away, then they do these gauntlets, and for some reason I don't think this warranted that that whole gauntlets. Not to say that the matches were bad. Most of them were great, but yeah, I understand the build was a bit shoddy, to say the least. But yeah, the main event, or the match itself, definitely proved that it's one of it stands pretty much arguably probably the best Iron Man match ever. No, that's what some people are saying.
I say so.
I
say
Yeah, I think I'd say it's up there with like Brock and Kurt and then Kurt and another Kurt Angle
And
one.
Sean?
Yeah, and Sean. Yeah. That's definitely. Okay. So what about you, Soul? What is your number 10, please?
So before I get into my 10, I need to make a confession. I need
dear.
to press my sins. There's a show on my top 10 list that's not there. There's no matches from it because I've not seen it. I have not seen Backlash.
1 second.
What is wrong with you? I mean, what is your malfunction?
I've not missed that.
You were waiting to use that one, weren't you? Okay.
Oh yeah, 100%. He gives me a reason every show.
And you wonder why I drink so much.
Knock the mic off then.
Oh, damn it! You like blow him back.
Man,
Okay.
I've just not seen Backlash. I remember when it first, aired, and I was kind of like, I'll watch it some point, and then some point, and then just kind of. So yeah, no Backlash matches will be on my top 10 best or worst because I've not seen it. But my number 10 best is an AEW match from AEW Revolution. It is the Elite versus the House of Black for the Trios Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Elite. I think the Elite are stellar performers, and wrestlers are just absolutely divine to watch. House of Black, the whole atmosphere as well. Moments I can think from this match. I always love my moments. Julia Hart being knocked off by Kenny, and Kenny giving the old shrug, like, did I do that? But the best spot in this whole match for me was when the Bucks were doing the Meltzer driver, and as they're going for it, but he slams up, knees Nick in the face, leading to the finish. And I think it was the perfect choice to have the House of Black win. They deserve it. The Elite don't really need championships. They are elevated on their own personal standards. Fun overall match, and a great match in the Trios Championship legacy.
Agreed.
Agreed.
That one was that nearly made my top 10. That was a very memorable match. Usually when it comes to the trios matches, they always do great. But yeah, that one, especially to showcase House of Black to their full potential. Not to say that they didn't before, but yeah, the chemistry together was great. That Julia Hart moment was awesome as well. But yeah, I agree. The right team won. And just a quick side note or side question. what's your thoughts on the position regarding the trios titles? Because right now it looks like there is a singles rivalry going on between Andrade and Aleister Black. Do you feel like that's the right move, or do you feel like that there's some shine coming from, like there's some shine taken away from the trios titles? What's your thoughts on what's going on with them right now?
I definitely don't think so. I think what we're going to get is Malachi and Andrade having a match on Collision, and maybe even at All In, we'll have El Faction and Gobernables with Roosh and Realistico, or even Preston Vance versus Aleister Black for the Trios Championships at All In, or even All Out. I think that's definitely where they're going to go, because they kind of, Andrade and Malachi have had history. Look back at NXT, they had the NXT Championship match at TakeOver, stellar match between the two. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because they're coming out with their titles and they are representing the trio team. I think just give it time. As I say, fans, come on, patience. Yeah. Keyword fans are messing. Patience.
The other thing I'll say is that there was a lot of complaints over the last few months about the trios titles being too dominant at the expense of the tag titles. So they kind of seem to have, for a while, they've cooled off the trios title so they can give the tag title some shine with the Bullet Club Gold FTR stuff, which I think is a smart move. They're two titles that kind of get very interchangeable, when there are so many trios that are also that include tags and tags that are part of trios and all of that. So I think it is a smart solution to kind of cool off one. Yeah, I'll never complain about seeing Malachi Black versus Andrade when we get that match.
No, 100%. I can't wait for that. I hope. To be fair, I'd rather see Malachi and Andrade at All In than the other match that you just mentioned. So, but yeah, either way, I can't wait for that match to happen eventually. Yeah. Well, yeah, I forgot my number 10. My number 10 is also an AEW match. It is an AEW Collision match, actually. And it involved one of the guys from House of Black, and it was actually Andrade versus Buddy Matthews on the debut episode of AEW Collision. I had no issues of I wasn't ever thinking that they were gonna do great, because they did great in WWE. Their matches were awesome, and yeah, man, it was great to see an Andrade return to form. It was like his old self. The guy was jacked to the gills. And this little injury scare on both parties was like great storytelling. Even though it happened during the commercial, but yeah, but either way, the chemistry was great, and the awesome finish to the match, and obviously it's leading off to what's going on right now. But yeah, that match was just so refreshing and left a good impression for AEW Collision going forward as well. It's it wasn't like it still is quite different from Dynamite in terms of how they put stuff together and how paced it is, and it's a good pace compared to Dynamite, was that boom, 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 boom. But yeah, other than that, yeah, the chemistry was great. It's worthy that part. It just nipped this one nipped above the tag team match, you said, the trios match. They said with the Elite and House of Black. So that's my number 10. Okay, let us move on to number 9. All right. Okay, let's go with Soul. Back to you, Soul. What's your number 9, please?
Oh, the pressure's on. Shit, I got to impress and make a good debut. Well, number 9 for me is a match that had heart, soul, passion, but more importantly, it had anarchy. It is anarchy in the arena at AEW Double or Nothing. I love this shit. I mean, I'm negative out the way. The Wild Thing singer. I never really got that. I kind of would have preferred it was the audio thing, because that's where that guy was wearing the weirdest mask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Great choice, TK. Great choice.
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep my fucking mouth shut. But personally, I thought like it was just so enjoyable, and some people was complaining like, why did it go last, not the 4-way? I think it made kind of sense. Even MJF said it. I don't want to roll around in Moxley's tainted head through A to Z blood. Fair point. MJF has a point. But yeah, Carnage, Chaos, Car Crash. I loved it, and I very much enjoy watching it back.
So something I'd just like to say quickly that might be quite an interesting verse, and I'm not sure whether there'll be many of these. This is the first match that's been said that I don't have on my list because I don't like. I didn't like, and I found it. It gave me a massive headache. and it just wound me up massively. That's not to say it's a bad match by any means. It was still a very good match on its own merits. Just was one of those matches where I just got to the end of it and I thought, especially at the end of a 4-hour show at whatever umpteen time in the morning it was, I was like, oh. I was like, I felt like I got, I felt like I got,
doesn't help.
I felt like I got through 5 migraines. But like I said, I totally get why, because it's a very good match, just not to my tastes.
But my mindset at the time was screaming with my beer in hand, saying, "Yes, Yuta! Yes, tap out Kenny Omega, kick his ass."
See, I didn't hate it, but honestly, the first half of the match, I'm like, okay, what match does that guy have on? I was a part of Black Twitter that was kind of going like, what is going on here? What is going on here? I had to watch that match back again for the wrestling aspect of it.
Yeah. We'll leave it at I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
As Tony Khan, I wouldn't have.
That was just weird. Wow, absolutely bizarre choice. I'm surprised there wasn't even more heat coming from that. To be fair,
I agree. Completely agree.
But yeah, fair
because
enough.
People love the match so much. They loved the match. They didn't care. They loved the match.
People are fickle. That's what I know. It's just weird. They just pick and choose when to get triggered and when not to get triggered. That's how I see it. Fair enough. Cool. David, what's your number 9, please?
Okay, my number 9 match. I was gonna say we go to Japan, but we don't technically go to Japan because it's a New Japan Strong event. My number 9 match is from New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley, and it is Mercedes Moné versus Kairi. One of the very last matches that I watched in preparation for this. I kind of went through a lot of the matches that I hadn't seen. I thought Mercedes Moné has had a tremendous run since debuting with her stuff in New Japan. The 3-way she had with, I believe it was Hazumi and AZM, is an honorable mention on my list. Not an actual, but it's up there because that was just tremendous fun. But this was the definition of a big match main event. Really glad it got the main event spot. Just really, really terrific wrestling. You expect nothing less because they're two of the best. How Kairi was so underused in WWE, I will never know. It was terrific match. The right person won. It was a very cleanly wrestled. Really had that big match vibe that I think really benefited it, particularly, like I said, because it went on last. Not a great deal to say, like in terms of individual spots. I just really got wrapped up into it, and I just think it's tremendous wrestling. And again, more of this kind of thing, please. More women main eventing pay-per-views, pretty please.
Wow, absolutely, pal. I mean, I'm sure you know, Boss Man Allison hates her theme to high heavens.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the greatest, but he hates it with a passion.
I honestly think I kind of wish I bought one of them like throwable speakers, connect it, blast that theme, and throw it to a hotel room at Mania.
And just hold it like this, just hold it like that.
Just the
office meme.
Why do that? Why do that when you could just blare the Right to Censor theme?
Oh God!
Yeah, if I do that, the whole hotel's like fire alarm.
Yeah, imagine.
This is not gonna have anywhere to stay after that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll be honest. I have not seen any of her matches since she's gone to New Japan, but I do intend to see that one. I do know that one's pretty much out of her run. That's the most talked about match.
Yeah, and also watch the 3-way as well, because the 3-way has a lot less story to it, but it's just. Do you remember AJ Styles versus Edge versus Rey Mysterio?
Yes,
from SmackDown. It's that
yes.
only without the botched ending, and with an ending that makes you go wow instead of.
Yeah, fair dues.
Not chanting Botchamania by the end of that one.
Oh yeah, 100%. Drizzy, what's your number 9, please?
My number 9. We are back in AEW. Fun fact: for years, Kenny Omega's normally all over my top 10s. This is the first year he's only got like 2 matches on my list, and this is one of them. Kenny Omega versus Vikingo on Dynamite. I missed the last one. I always heard great things about it, but the moment I seen Vikingo go in the ring and just all the moves he did, he's had me in the palm of his hand ever since.
Same.
This is one of the few matches that it has a story. It's just not a lot of people know about it. Kenny lost the belt to him.
Yep.
Right.
So this was the rematch that we never got because I believe Kenny got hurt after that. So
Yes.
it had me. Vikingo is must see. If you have not watched any of his matches, please do.
Just
And Kenny,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry, just going to say very quick plug. There might be a Wrestling Republic Honestly article coming out from my end about El Hijo de Vikingo very soon. Also their rubber matches this weekend in AAA, Triple Mania.
Why should I waste it there? Oh,
Must
Just
stand
like
up,
you have.
because that's the promotion that Vikingo is from.
That's his home. That's his
Ken's
home.
like, I don't want to have to watch Triple Mania. It's
Nah,
fucking
I think it's
boring.
only $10 on Pro Wrestling TV.
That's
I
too
don't care
much.
if it was
$10 too
10
much.
half of a Botchamania video is mainly full of AAA stuff. That's how bad that show is.
It's not. They
not
can very much pick and choose. Like I think when you do that, when AAA does that much high spot wrestling, that stuff is bound to go wrong.
Yeah.
But for like some of the matches AAA produces when they're on fire, they're some of the best
Okay, fair enough.
flippy shit matches you'll ever
I'll take
see.
your word.
As well, Kingo is a true champion because me and Chaos have seen him wrestle in person, and
Does he really move that
Like a real
fast
life
in person?
superhero, man. It's insane.
I honestly thought Chaos was going to start crying tears of joy at that Ring of Honor. So you were
I
like,
was internally. I was just like, my life is complete. I can die right now and I'm good. Like,
bro,
just
you
see that
were
life.
nudging me like they're opening with this. They're opening with this. I'm like, yes, I can see the crying count. I can see the graphic. I'm not blind like you. I can see.
Oh no, fair enough. I mean, yeah, I'm glad that's on your list. Spoiler alert, I'm not gonna lie, that's also on my list as well. Where I'm gonna say where it is, I'll keep it to myself. But yeah, that is a great shout, Drizzy, on that for sure. My number 9 is actually a WWE match. And it was at another pay-per-view, a premium live event that myself and Soul was at. And it was WrestleMania Night 2. And it was the triple threat between Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship.
Boo, you racist. How could you do
what?
that? How could you do that to Drew? How could you put Drew at number 9? How could you?
He's looking to make it on my top 10. No, I'm joking. No, but it was just like from where we were sitting, complete like the way they were just chopping each other to high hell. It was crazy. The spots were great. It was just big beefy boys just slapping meat. Actually,
Big meaty man slapping meat. That's what I want.
I say I do love that match, but I can't watch it back.
Ah.
I cry inside about Drew.
Yeah, you was crying. He was hurt emotionally.
I was
after that
thinking
match.
about my afro at the time.
He's got another chance. He's got another chance.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I mean, David, do you know about the story about Linda at that show that the lads saw her behind us?
Oh yeah. We saw Linda McMahon behind us during that match. Was it during that match or just before?
There was
I had
actually,
to double take because
I remember someone said like Linda's behind us, and we were like, Linda who? And literally, was like, oh shit, it's Shane's man. It's Shane's man.
It really I had to like quadruple take. I was like, is that really her or is that like a lookalike? She looked completely. It was just weird, but yeah, I haven't seen it for years. I was just like, okay, fair enough.
And then that Shane spot happened.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, and you
We're
just see
gonna
how
talk
quick
about
this
that
fade away after that. It was absolutely hilarious. But yeah,
Literally
that is
the Vampirist just like back into the. It's like, oh.
pretty much. It just faded to black. It was crazy as soon as that happened. But yeah, that match was great. It got the crowd going. And yeah, the spots were crazy, and yeah, the finish was awesome. And I'm happy with the winner, even though everyone was kind of pegging for Sheamus to win. So it wasn't even McIntyre. People was even betting for it was Sheamus.
Wrong. It was meant to be Drew. Should have been Drew before the Clash of the Castle. I'll never forgive him for that. That's an absolute disrespect.
Wait, he's gonna be that Dolph Ziggler now. It should have been me.
It should have been Drew. He should be on the Scottish notes.
My gosh. Well, better luck next time. He's got SummerSlam. We'll see. But fair enough. Cool.
Better luck next time to a Scot. How could you say such a thing? We didn't get our independence. How are we gonna get shit? We can't get crap kills.
Before this erupts into civil war, let's move on to
Yes. What's your number 8?
My number 8.
Yes.
I didn't hear you. The video was still going for me.
Oh, my bad.
All I heard, "What's your number 8?" I'm like, nobody's talking to me.
You talking to me?
All right.
Yes, sir.
My number 8. We journey to the land of Impact. Yes, they're still alive. And it is the rivalry that is literally driving this company between two of their top stars in that division, the Knockouts division. Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo, the Iron Man match at Emergence. If you have ever kept up with Impact, you know their knockouts are their bread and butter. It has been the thing that has singly kept this company alive since the days of Hogan and Bischoff.
Mm.
This match, although it may be their very last one together, did not disappoint. They always have a banger when they do wrestle. Jordan Grace is a juggernaut in the ring. Deonna Purrazzo can do no wrong with her holds. It is literally a technical masterpiece. They just fit together. It makes you feel good watching them. This match, I love it. I went back and forth on where to put this match because it's gone from literally everything between 4 and 3, 4 to 7 to me, for me. But this is where I'm choosing to put it before I decide to move it again.
Fair dues, fair dues. Yeah, I love Jordan Grace. Even though I'll be fair, I'll be honest, I haven't really seen a full match. I've always seen clips, but she always impresses, and it's to the point. Like I know that I think she's wrapped up with Impact right now. The world's an oyster. I think she'd be great in both WWE or AEW. To be fair,
she's fairly young still too.
Yeah, I think if anything, I think I'd be more interested in seeing her in WWE and NXT. I think she could definitely, be someone that can clear out that division and then move up.
Absolutely.
And then, she'd be great.
She's a gem wherever she goes.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it's crazy to see that she is someone that has true evolution. Like I've seen her like from the beginning all the way to where she is now. And yeah, she's absolutely great. So yeah, great choice on that. Great choice on that. David, what's your number 8, please?
My number 8 is from WrestleMania 39, Night 1. It was the main event of that show. It is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. Really, really glad this got the main event spot.
Yes.
One of the best told stories WWE have ever booked. It was a tremendous main event. All 4 guys got their licks in. Just really, really good storytelling. One of my favorite endings of the year with Sami catching Jay for the final few haluva kicks. Just gorgeously done storytelling. Really, really like this. Yeah, it's a testament to how good the rest of this list is. That match is only number 8, but it is really, really great. And I'll be honest with you, with a better finish, Cody versus Roman would also have been on this list because it's a perfect match with a really flat ending. But unfortunately, it didn't quite get there because of the ending. This was the opposite. It had a perfect ending, sent the crowd home happy, and yeah, nothing to complain about here. Really, really good stuff.
I definitely agree there, David. I mean, especially with Cody and Roman, really leaves a lump in your throat like a Samoan spike. Eh?
Yeah. Not angry lost. I'm not angry Cody lost. I was just, when you get to the end of the match and it's just, there's no progression, there's no advancement, it's just, you're just done again. And it didn't feel like, we're moving it forward. It felt like,
Yeah, I'll never.
There's still a whole third act to go, buddy.
I'll never forget that night. It was
because
it was the way the atmosphere just got sucked out of the room. It reminded me, especially when the Undertaker streak was broken. I was there for that main event, and it was like it was crazy how it just was instant silence, and it was absolute shock and disbelief, like. As choreographed and how choreographed and all, there's this sports entertainment is. The fact that it just took that such is to the point where people are just like in disbelief, and it just controls your emotions in such a way. This was definitely one of them, and yeah, that night it was just, there was a lot of what the F's and just jaws dropped. I think I was the only one that was shouting. I told you. Roman's going to win. I was the only one.
You always say that. You said that freaking Mania when Roman won. You literally nearly dropped your phone and was like bouncing up and down. Like, I told you all, 90,000 of you in SoFi. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
said that at Clash, said that at Mania. I told you, yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, fair enough. Good shout on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. So, what is your number 8, please?
Hi, number 8 is still in the land of the best wrestling company in the world, AEW. Sorry,
Oh.
I'm talking, but it's true. It's a match I predict. Actually, it's the 4-pillar 4-way for the AEW World Championship at Double or Nothing. For me, what I really loved about this match is watching AEW in the pandemic and seeing Sammy of Inner Circle, MJF doing the Inner Circle stuff with Jericho, Jungle Boy on Dark, and Darby with his TNT Championship run, and building that relationship with Sting. It's kind of like when you're at high school and you leave, and then everyone does their own university stuff, and you see everyone succeed. It's kind of like that pride of just seeing wrestlers that I like kind of fell in love watching their stuff, getting this opportunity, getting the key and told, hey, run the kingdom, go. It meant a lot, I think, for those individuals and for their fans as well, to see them that these were guys that some of them had really no experience on national TV before in big wrestling companies. They did a lot of indie stuff. And now to be fighting over a world championship in the semi-main event of a big pay-per-view for a big company, it just warms the heart to see these guys progress.
No, yeah, no, I agree. That match was great. That's another one that I felt like the build to it was,
In reverse.
yeah, and it was just convoluted for no reason. It was just, yeah, they just went a whole roundabout going around it. But yeah, I had no issue. I didn't think that I wasn't thinking that it would not gel together. They have obviously come up from the indies and since the beginning of AEW to now, and yeah, like, and yeah, there was a lot of great moments, especially the ending. I fucking love the ending. It was so great. The ending was great on that show. And fair enough. Who else is left? Is it David or is it me?
No, I don't. It's just you.
Oh, it's me.
Yes.
My bad. Sorry.
That's you.
So yeah, my number 8 is, oh wow, it's actually the same as well. Yeah, MJF versus Sammy versus W and Jungle Boy. Yeah, there we go.
That was easy.
Love you too, bro. Love you too. Simple. Great match.
On to number 7. All right, I'm gonna go first, and yeah, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet because one of you guys has mentioned it already. And my number 7 is Danielson versus MJF, the Iron Man match. Again, yeah, like the build-up wasn't the best, but the match proved it. It's not. I ain't gonna lie, it's not something that I'm gonna be rushing to go and see again because it's an hour. But the build-up, the build to the end was great, and the finish was superb. Typical MJF fashion. Shows why he should be the world champion and should be the face of the company. And yeah, he's just great. That's all I can say. Moving on. David, what's your number 7, please?
For my number 7, we're going to go to the best branch of the WWE right now. We're going to go to NXT.
Oh my God, you didn't say that.
I don't want no Skittles wrestling. I don't want that multicolored stuff.
It's not Skittles wrestling anymore. I liked it when it was Skittles wrestling. But
Starburst.
We're going to the what I would say is the best, the most consistent weekly television. Even though I think WWE books the main roster books pay-per-views better. However, this is from a pay-per-view. This is from NXT Battleground. Very recently, this is Ilya Dragunov versus Dijak in a last man standing match because they beat the piss out of each other for 15 minutes, and it's glorious. I love both of these guys. It's the most hard-hitting non-Walter match I have seen in forever from WWE. Every strike, every kick, my favorite spot in the match is when Dijak grabs the table and Dragunov just runs at him and just goes bang, breaks himself through the table, but takes Dijak out with him. Then there's a little bit of pantomime in there with sort of the violence of him pinning down Dragunov and beating him, going, "Why won't you stay down?" That's my kind of campy nonsense. And then we finish it with the elbow to the back of the head onto a chair. What more do you want? I love both of these lads. I've said before, you may see this in some of my worst matches. I'm not a deathmatch wrestling guy. I don't enjoy watching people get cut open with forks, and that's not my thing. I do, however, like brutal wrestling. like this. I like my table spots. I like my chair spots. I like my things that look just nasty. It's the excess of blood and the kind of the gnarliness of it, people being hung and etc. that I struggle with. But this was just glorious, and I could why Dragunov's not on the main roster, I will never know. Why they made Dijak T-Bar, I will never know. Fantastic wrestling, and we're getting Bron Breakker versus Dragunov this week on tonight on NXT, which will make my year. So tremendous wrestling match, loved it to pieces. I would like, for the others, I've been saying more of this, please, but I don't want to see every wrestling match like this. Same as I said about Walter Dragunov, I don't want all my wrestling to be like this. But as a novelty, it makes a match feel so special on a card when it's this level of brutality.
No,
two questions.
Sorry, I was just going to say, David, I guess you're not a fan of pizza cutters used in wrestling matches, are you?
No, especially not with Domino's adverts that come alongside.
Let's get rid of all the Nick Gage matches.
Let's make it.
I was about to say, like, two questions, two things. Obviously, you say you're not a fan of deathmatch. I got a feeling the match you're probably going to say is probably going to trigger Ben, or Soul, I should say, later on. Maybe, I don't know, but the second.
No, I don't think so, because the match that I think we're all thinking of was an honorable mention until the last minute.
Okay, fair enough. Cool.
Right. I'm sorry.
Well, I think I should get to it then, because my number 7 is Hangman Page versus John Moxley in a
There we go.
I love my shit. I love death and violence. I love it. The fact that this match basically started off from an injury of Hangman Page being knocked out, and I still think to this day the Hangman Page promo where he said he was in the ambulance and he said, "Oh, I was at AW Dynamite. I was in a match against John Moxley." It's like, who's this? I don't know who that is. That's your son. That's hard hitting shit, and I love that. And then just on Dynamite, Moxley's just strutting his stuff to Wild Things as he does. I swear he probably does that at home with Renee. They're just strutting Wild Things. Then Hangman just comes in and is just like, hey, and it's like, I was like, Mox. I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? You probably can't remember our last encounter. Hangman's just like, cowboy shit punch. And just knocked his ass out. And I love this. And then they got the special entry as well. Hangman coming out to Ghost Town and just everything from. I loved it. I felt like it was a good Texas Death Match. Mox has done this before with Lance Archer for the IWGP US. I thought that was stellar as well. Definitely not some thing like GCW or another company that's probably going to be on a lot of people's worst, so I won't mention it. But I love this match, and damn you all to hell if you said it sucked.
No, it's the best. It's the best death match I've ever seen. It's only personal preference that keeps it off the top 10 for me. Just that version, just some of those spots. But
don't worry, David. I'll do something that wrestling fans don't do. I respect your opinion.
Thank you.
Yes. Going back to your match, quick, David. Is that the match that also Dijak broke his finger?
No, that was the Wesley match.
Oh, Wesley. Okay, cool.
Which is also bonkers good.
Yeah. I've seen highlights of that. Fair enough. Cool. Good shout on that one, Soul. That's great match. Very great match. Drizzy, what's your number 7, please?
My number 7 is a personal dream match for me. It was at New Japan Resurgence, Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné. I had to pick between the two, and this match hit me way more than the Kairi Sane match. They beat the hell out of each other. Mercedes and Willow's a great worker, but she really made Willow look incredible in that match. I believe she could beat anybody at that point in the time at that aspect. I hate that it basically ended because of an injury, but the match is amazing to me. It's a match I never even thought I'd ever see. I didn't even think that Mercedes and Willow even knew who each other. Well, Mercedes knew who Willow was, but the fact that I got to see them in a ring together made it for me.
It is fair. That's another one I need to catch up as well.
Same here.
I need to say that for sure. Okay, cool. So let us roll on to number 6. Okay. This one has not been said. All right, yeah. No, that's cool. That's fine. So let's shuffle it again to Soul. What is your number 6, please?
My number 6 is I'm finally leaving AEW, boys. I'm finally crossing over.
Finally. God damn. I'm joking.
This match is from a show that me and Chaos were at, and there was a lot of debating over this match. Should it have main evented? Should it have not? Over a certain match. But this match was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39 Night 1. I mean, I think we could agree, Chaos, that atmosphere in that match in the arena was bonkers. Like, it was like a shock of just how hard-hitting these ladies went. And it was, overall, probably maybe my top 3 women's matches of the year as well. I just thought they absolutely succeeded at what they were trying to do. And I'm so glad Rhea won. It was definitely her moment. Like I always said, you look back at Rhea and Charlotte's history, they fought for the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte got that. NXT Championship, Charlotte got that. And having the SmackDown one be the win for Rhea, which has now became the World Heavyweight for the women's. Great to see. I want that belt as a replica because Chaos knows I have all the side plates because it bankrupted me to shit.
Yes.
Mental note for you lads, don't get drunk and buy 6 side plates for WrestleMania 39.
6?
Yeah.
Look, I'm a businessman above anything else, and that eBay resale value, ooh, glorious. I mean, literally, I had to put some of my hand luggage, have some of my case, and Chaos had to actually ship me one from his.
Yeah, I know you still owe me postage. No, I'm joking. I'm playing.
I'll pay you all in. I'll pay you all in. I'll buy you an AEW replica belt. You can come.
Woo! Yeah, I'm cool with that. That's fine. That's cool. That's fine.
You want this bad boy? You think you can deserve? You think you can pay the $800 for that and get it through customs? Well, no.
Wincing.
Soul die 800 for that. Crazy.
I
know it's beautiful. I know it's beautiful.
Yes. It also costs a lot of money.
It also costs a lot of money. I'm a university student. We don't have this kind of money lying around for replica belts. I can't pay my rent.
Yeah, I couldn't explain. I really could not explain to my wife. Yeah, I was either buy this house or buy this belt.
If I got the receipt, I would just rub off one of the zeros, and yes, $80. There you go. There you go. Done. You'll never know.
Credit card statement.
Yeah, I know that's true. Yeah, shit. But yeah, that's a good shout. Sorry, what was your match again? Rhea versus Charlotte. That was it. Yeah, sorry. I was just like, that was a good shot. I was like, what?
Don't worry. For all in, I'm getting you a nice 40 birthday of cake.
Tremendous shout for that wrestling match. That was it was really good. Yeah,
insert wrestling name, wrestling match. Insert wrestling match. Yeah, that was a great atmosphere. That's another one that did exceed my expectations. I mean, there was a debate if it should have been the main event. Me personally, I don't think it should have been, and it was rightly placed. But Rhea and Charlotte made sure it was worthy. They could be just as good as a main event. 110%. It exceeded expectations. The crowd was getting more into it the further it went on, and it was great. So 110%. I'm gonna go next. My number 6 is another match that me and you Soul was at, and it was at WrestleMania Ring of Honor Supercard, and it was, of course, Vikingo versus Commander. Oh my God, this was just the atmosphere was, everyone was ready for it. They knew what they were going to get themselves into. Yeah, my first viewing of Vikingo was against Omega, and like since then, I'm like, I can't get enough of him. I thought the highest you could get would be like Dante Martin, because I'm a huge Dante Martin fan, and now Vikingo is just peaked over with they're both just as good. But yeah, this one was great, and Commander doing the as what Ignacio says, the flippy doodahs, and I'm sure that he winced at everything that them two were doing, but that makes me love it even more. It was great. The crowd was into it. I didn't care who won. I don't even remember who won, but but it was great at that time. So yeah, that one is definitely up there. Drizzy, what's your number 6, please?
My number 6, now that Soul has left AEW, I'm going to AEW. Number 6, the AEW Pillars 4-way at Double or Nothing. Talked about it already. A great story that was a great story match. That storyline was told in reverse.
Yeah.
If they would have just reversed how they did everything, there's no reason it couldn't be in the top 5. But as for the match itself, the psychology of it, almost perfect. You even got the spots where everybody did their dad finisher moves. You got Cody MJF doing the crossroads. What's his name? I don't want to call him Jungle Boy because he is clearly not Jungle Boy anymore. Hollywood Jack Perry doing the Unprettier. You had Darby do the Scorpion Death Drop. You had Sammy do the Code Break. Like,
Yeah.
it from start to finish, everybody fit their characters. The story made sense in ring. Everybody was on. They looked great. Just the storyline. Just the storyline.
No, yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the head. I just loved everything, especially the ending when with the coffin drop, and then he took it, pinned him with the headlock takedown, wasn't it?
Again, for the second time.
The second time, yeah, I remember I called that, and I was like, "Yeah, he's definitely gonna do it," and it was just like, "Yeah, he has to do it." So, good shout. David, what's your number 6, please?
My number 6. This is a match that I think other people may have significantly higher, or at least a combination of one of two. I've gone with Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay from Wrestle Kingdom. I decided to only put one on the list. This was the one I preferred.
Okay.
Because I thought it was boring to just have two Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay matches. Had Forbidden Door have been on there, it probably would have been 9 or 10. I thought the Wrestle Kingdom match was a bit cleaner. Both matches are tremendous. Of course they are. They're two of the best wrestlers in the world. My complaint with the Forbidden Door match is I think it got a little bit indulgent by the end. The one kick out is fine, and then they just keep going, and the ending felt like, oh, thank God, we finally got to the end rather than wow. But I thought the Wrestle Kingdom match was just glorious, and that had a much better ending, I thought, with the Will Ospreay leaning out to kind of glazed and covered in blood. I love my memory of this match is none of the brutal spots. It's Kenny Omega taking a broken New Japan table, sticking his head through it, and saying, "Here's Kenny." As a massive movie guy, that made my life complete. Just wonderful wrestling. This was just beautiful stuff, and the best match at Wrestle Kingdom by a fair way, and one of the best matches of the year.
Fair dues. Fun fact: I have not seen that one, but I need to see it. I've been since seeing the second one, I was like, yeah, it's definitely on my must-watch list. And check that out because I know it's going to be just as good. So, fair dues. All right, let us move on to number 5. Back to you, David. What's your number 5?
My number 5 match. So just to preface this by saying that all 5 of these matches from 5 to 1, I rated 5 stars. So all these next 5 matches are my 5-star matches from 2023 so far. My number 5 match is also from New Japan. It is the Best of the Super Juniors final between Titan and Master Waito. This is Matrix wrestling like a kind I have never seen before. It's very rare in wrestling now that I watch a match that makes me go, crikey. Like that makes me really go, shit. That is unbelievable. This match was so much of that. There were certain spots in this that I have no idea how they physically did it. The crowd was electric for it, which, New Japan crowd, particularly over the pandemic with restrictions that have been put in place, they felt quieter. This did not, even like Kenny versus Will, kind of felt like it had that slightly diluted crowd because only certain portions of the crowd were able to cheer. The whole crowd was cheering, and it had that electricity. Just magnificent Lucha Libre wrestling. Both guys were great. It was a great Best of the Super Juniors tournament. It was a strange final on paper, but they absolutely delivered. Just magnificent wrestling. And the more it went on, the more I was like, this match keeps going, and I'm loving it more and more and more and more. I was just, like I said, the story wasn't necessarily there to the extent that maybe some of my top matches of the year, like top 3 would be. But just for wrestling, this is some of the cleanest you'll ever see.
Okay, I need to check that out then. Yeah, that's a great plug. To be fair, I'll be honest, I have not heard of them before. But
I hadn't either until this tournament. Funnily enough,
yeah.
Like Titan, it will be. I feel I'm genuinely blanking off that's his actual name. I think it is. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. But he wrestles like no man I have ever seen before. Some of that he did a kick at one point in the match that looked like something out of a like a Bruce Lee film if Bruce Lee had CGI. Like,
The hell? Wow.
like I was just like, ooh, okay, we're doing that, are we? All right.
Yes.
Defies gravity and physics.
The man's kicking. Oh shit.
Yeah, hit the deck. All right, Drizzy, what is your number 5?
My number 5 actually was David's number 6. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. I agreed with him 110%. I didn't want to put both of those matches on here because it's kind of selfish at that point. The more enjoyable one was the New Japan one at Wrestle Kingdom. Great match. I enjoyed just having a crazed Will Ospreay with something to prove and not being able to get it done.
Fair play.
Okay. What about you, Soul? What's your number 5?
My number 5 was a tag match for what I like to call the Hubba Bubba belts, red and blue. Tag match, the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens from WrestleMania Night 1. I won't lie, it was emotional with this match. I definitely feel like having Kevin and Sami reunite and beat the Usos for the tag belts. I've kind of changed my tune. You know, I feel like the Usos are maybe one of the top 4 greatest tag teams going. 110%. I really enjoy their stuff. And I will say, though, even though I've played this match, I am not getting replicas of those belts because they're shit.
They are.
Yeah,
They're horrible. Desperately shit.
I say that now and watch. I'm gonna have a 39 collection, and they'll be right there in the corners. Like you bought these.
Like these are also history.
It was a 2-for-1 deal. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I broke the rules. I broke my wallet. I broke my spirit.
Spirits, yeah. Okay, yeah. No, it was an emotional night. Well deserved. Great match. Yeah. What more can you say, really? I'm next. Okay, cool. So yeah, my number 5 is it's already been mentioned. Drizzy has mentioned it already. But this one for me is higher, and it's Kenny Omega versus Vikingo. So he's back to back pretty much on my list. This is obviously my introduction to Vikingo. What more can I say? The guy is right up my alley, and it was the chemistry was amazing. It was to the point I didn't know until you actually said that they have previous history, because the way they wrestled is like they know each other, like move for move, and it was just absolutely insane. Obviously there was a bit of a scary spot. I think he did like the front 650 or 630 into a table, and
it was a lot of flips.
Yeah, it was a lot of flips. Yeah. Might have been a 920. I don't know, but yeah, he hit the back of his head on the ring. But yeah, he carried on like nothing happened, and it was just absolutely amazing. More of Vikingo on my television, please. Anywhere other than AAA, I'm sorry, but yeah,
anywhere other than where he made his name.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Let's go. We're going into the depths. Top 4. Let's go. Number 4. So, number 4, please.
My number 4 is the guy who I want to be the next Scottish Prime Minister. Love the boy. Drew Gunther versus Sheamus at WrestleMania Night 2. We said all I can about this match. I'll keep it really short. I loved it. I mean, Drew losing. Just shan times, man. Fuck. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. Oh, God. I'll continue on. I'm done. I can't talk no more.
I may as well jump in here because it is also my number 4.
Hey!
Drew versus Gunther versus Sheamus from WrestleMania 39.
Look at that.
It is my belief that Gunther is the best wrestler on the planet. I don't think anybody else wrestles a match like him, and it's magnificent wrestling, just magnificent, just brutality. We seem to have lost Soul. Not Soul, sorry. Soul's there. We seem to have lost Chaos.
Finally, a promotion. I'm host again.
Yeah, Soul's host. Take the floor. Soul, take the
floor, indeed. Back in there, turning wheels off.
Thank you.
I don't know what happened there. Sorry.
Let's just enjoy the promotion.
It's 5 seconds. 5 seconds of fame.
5 seconds. Enjoy it while it lasts. Now I'm back. As you were.
All I have to say, what great wrestling. Love the brutality. Love Gunther. May he reign for the rest of eternity, please. Thank you.
Yes. Long live Gunther.
Long may he reign.
Fair dues. So busy. What's your number 4, please?
My number 4, another match we've already spoken about, Rhea versus Charlotte at WrestleMania Night 1. if you thought they should main event, you must not have seen their build because it was absolutely horrible.
Oh
Which
yeah.
seems to be a
Oh,
common. I don't know what it is, but it's a common thing with the SmackDown World Title. The match for the belt, amazing. The build for the belt, horrible.
Yeah. Banks and Belair is the same as well. It was terrible,
Yes.
but yeah, the match was great.
Such a bad build. That was
I don't
Reggie.
know.
Reggie was involved in most of that.
Mhm.
Remember Reggie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh fuck! Not that guy, Mr.
Scripts.
Scripts. Ooh,
Scripts.
It's all right.
I-
It's, Reggie. It's all right. It's all right. He's Reggie again now. It's fine. I'm doing
Oh, yeah.
absolutely
And
nothing.
he actually wrestles now.
Yeah.
is he? I don't watch NXT. I don't watch
Yeah,
crap.
he's doing nothing. He's doing absolutely nothing.
They said,
Oh,
you,
fair
can do all these,
enough.
you can do all these flips. Let's at least teach you how to wrestle with them.
Was he not online with Sasha at one point? If I'm mistaken, who was he on?
Yeah. And Nia Jax. Remember that thing?
Carmella as well.
Aya,
Carmella as well.
Carmella. Heckler had a
Yeah.
nice. Had a nice
The guy
line.
gets around.
Yeah, nice little
Oh, to
roster.
be or not to be, you're fucking not.
Fair dues.
We got to clip that. We got to clip that or somewhere. That's got to become a new. That's got to become a new like. What's the word? Pop up thing. Another,
Oh, a little
like,
meme. Yeah, a little meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to. Yeah.
to
Might
be
have to
or
do
not to be.
Royalties, man. Give me my royalties.
You're
Everything.
fucking
You
not.
do.
Marvelous.
All right. So I guess that's everyone's number 4. Cool. Top 3. I might have to go and recalculate my one, but yeah, let me go. Soul, what's your number 3? Is number 3, right? Yeah, number 3. Go ahead.
My number 3 is a match that's been said before, so I'll keep it short and just say the match is Bryan Danielson versus MJF in the Iron Man match at AEW Revolution. They hit it, they tore it down. I especially love the yes spot after the restart and everything, and he just does the yes spot from the corner, runs with the Bizaiku knee, and even to Tony Schiavone's call of like, "Oh, the sucker kicked out." That felt raw and passionate, and I do love the inclusion of the oxygen tank. It was brought in there because, after the match, they were all knocked down and beaten. Then it was at the side. MJF used it as a sneaky guy he is and retained the championship. Nothing more can be said about this. An excellent Iron Man match.
Fair dues, fair dues. I just realized that I didn't even do my number 4.
I didn't think you had, but I didn't want to say because I didn't want to mess the flow up in case.
No,
you had,
it's all good. It's all good. I'm just going to throw it out there. My number 4 was Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. Yeah, that's.
I ain't seen it. It must have been crap then. I ain't seen it.
Wonderful nonsense that match was.
Wonderful nonsense, exactly. And the best part is obviously the entrance. Bad Bunny's. Oh my gosh, I watch it. I was watching it yesterday. I was still getting goosebumps. The atmosphere was amazing. The drone shot going through the crowd, beautiful. Love.
Is that the match
Puerto
where
Rico.
the guy I used to be called appeared, Carlito? Is that when my old hairstyle came in that match?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Carlito.
Calito, flipping Carlos Vega, flipping the rest of LWO. Oh, it was wonderful nonsense, but yeah, absolutely flipping amazing. Okay, cool. So, David, what's your number 3, please?
My number 3 is a match that I feel like might have been slightly forgotten about in the grand scheme of the year because of just how many amazing Roman Reigns matches that we've had this year. My number 3 match is from Elimination Chamber, and it's Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn.
Oh my gosh, I actually forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
For quite a few days this week, obviously I've made a lot of changes, watched a lot of wrestling, rewatched a lot of wrestling. This was my number 1. There's 2 matches that I watched that just pipped it, but I just thought this was masterfully done. I rewatched it, and when you take away that slight disappointment of Sammy's lost, we all love Sammy. But when you actually watch it again, the storytelling of Sammy, the storytelling of Roman, of Jay, of Jimmy, of everybody involved in this match is glorious. Sami Zayn is one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and I'm glad that now, after a long time of not really getting to show that, through the pandemic, getting to really show his character work at that point, but not necessarily his wrestling, the fact we now get to see how good Sammy is in the ring. We're combined with Roman Reigns now grabbing Sammy up and I saved you and them just slugging on the floor. I thought it's just beautiful storytelling. And one of the I feel like it's going to be, when we get to the end of the year, I think it's going to be one of the forgotten gems, which is mad for a story that we all remember as being one of the best things WWE have done in a decade plus.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree, David. Absolutely, but I mean, I personally left it off my top 10 list because I feel like the whole interference shenanigan at the end kind of taints the match a bit.
Fair dues. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I was like, when you mentioned it, I was like, oh my god, how is that not on my top 10? I was just literally, I was tempted. I was like, should I replace that with what I have on my number 3? But I was just like, nah, let me just put it in. I'm gonna put that in the honorable mentions. But yeah,
I feel like after I said that, David's gonna like clothesline me or just like
No, not at all. I understand. I think the Jay stuff is amazing. The Jay standing between Roman, the stuff with the chair, but and then Roman using that chair to just, if you won't do it, I will, and just killing your hero is really good heel stuff. But we've seen that. I think we're a bit like, I can completely understand, because we have been burned by so many Roman matches having that exact same blueprint over the years. So I completely understand. I completely agree with you.
eat, rinse, repeat.
Drizzy, what is your number 3, please?
My number 3, a match we've already spoken about, the Usos versus Kevin and Sammy at Mania Night 1, the match that did actually main event. The best story going into Mania the entire weekend. More than Cody, more than everything. It was the best story. Nothing but great things. Nothing that I have nothing else more to say that you guys have not already said.
Fair dues, fair dues. Sully, have you said your number 3?
Yes, it's you. Stop forgetting about yourself, man.
My bad. Oh my gosh, it's so overload. Okay, my number 3. I was gonna change it, like I said, but I'm not going to. My one is actually, I don't think this is on anyone's list. Is actually the men's Royal Rumble. Compared to the one that we had last year, this one was a huge step up.
God, yeah. Eliminates AJ Styles in that one. Yeah, anything great.
Yeah, I mean,
last year's was like store bought, Sainsbury's own brand Coke. This year's like Coke Prime. Like,
yeah, it was great. I mean, this was pre interference from Vince, so this was like full Triple H controlling it, and it's one of the rumbles that I remember in a long while that told a story in it. You see, you have Gunther as number 1. He's the one that's lasting all the way at the end, and then the guy that's coming back to redeem himself after having been away for so long. Cody Rhodes coming in at the number 30 spot, and then at the end it was number 1 against number 30, just colliding and see who was going to actually win the Rumble.
Sorry, Chaos. Can I just throw out a slight counter argument to this match? The reason I didn't put it on this list, and I really like the men's Rumble, absolutely.
Right.
But I just think between Gunther and Sheamus being the first 2, and Booker T coming out at number 21, name a single thing that happened in that match between 2 and 21. Like once you get towards the end, it doesn't. The story comes back again. But I do feel like my complaint with that match was, for much of it, it is just, it's fine, and then you get really good by the end. Really good by the end.
Yeah. But there was a lot of the people that were the people that were in it as well was like, they were not I wouldn't say worthy of their spots, but I didn't feel there was any wasted spots. Like, obviously not everyone can win the Rumble, but it definitely felt well paced, and it wasn't just relying on nostalgia like they usually do.
Yes, that was a definite plus. Definite plus.
Yeah, 100%. So cool. So let's move on to number 2. So, what is your?
I was doing that, David. I was
going to do that. But... All right.
So, what's your number 2, please?
My number 2 is a match that's already been said. It's Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP US Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 17. Oh my fucking days! So, funny story. Watching this match, I was at work. I watched this match. I was literally
this.
Like, shut up, boss. Crime entertainment's on right now. I'm gonna indulge
myself. People are dying.
Oh my god, table spot. Even the entrances. Ospreay coming out with elevated, Commonwealth Kingpin transitioning to elevated, whole United Empire and everything at the side and everything. Oh, beautiful. But Kenny Omega, Sephiroth, one-winged angel. Oh my days, beautiful. Loved it. The whole gear and everything coming out. These guys left it all in the ring. Honestly, I say right now, the IWGP US title is actually becoming one of my favorite designs right now in wrestling. I think it's a beautiful belt. You mentioned the table spot, and here's Kenny. Oh, love it. I just love this. I mean, my number 1 It's gonna break the norm, but we'll get to that. Oh shit.
Oh boy. Okay. Looking forward to that. Drizzy, what is your number 2, please?
My number 2, the lone NXT match on here that we've already spoke about, Ilya versus Dijak. Ouch.
Wow.
I don't know what it is about the UK matches, but they literally beat each other up and then hug each other afterwards.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's because somebody's forgotten to tell them that wrestling isn't real, and they refuse to believe anyone who says otherwise.
They are the main reason why I don't like when people say it's fake. I'm like, you get in there and do it. You
Exactly.
go wrestle Shaman. You go wrestle Walter. Why you come out bleeding just off the slightest thing they do?
The man's literally there with a blood transfusion. Like, hush.
Fair dues, fair dues. I'm surprised I was quite high up in your list, but yeah, fair enough, fair enough. David, what is your number 2, please?
I'm going to get my hipster goggles on now. I've made notes for this one because I couldn't remember half the names. So my number 2 match comes from who, to my money, is the best women's wrestling in the world, and that is from Stardom. A match
Yo, play the Who clip. Who?
It's not available. Sorry.
Don't you disrespect Stardom's name. But Stardom has, I mean, Mercedes Moné has massively boosted it this year with her presence in even around the women's division. You know, Julia is doing amazing things there in Stardom.
Mm-hmm.
But my match of the year has my Stardom match of the year, my number 2 match in general, has neither of those things. It is the Loser Leaves Unit 12-woman cage match from Stardom Sunshine, a very recent match, which is between Queen's Quest and Odo Tai. As a wrestling match, as a cage match, it's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff. It's beautiful wrestling, really violent, really well paced for 12 women and for 12 people in a cage. The rules of this match, by the way, just for thing, is that there is 12 people in the ring, 2 teams of 6. Once everybody's escaped the cage, whoever the last person is left in the ring has to leave their stable. And this is a blood feud between 2 stables who hate each other. But more than that, there's infighting between one of the stables. And that leads to one of, in my opinion, the most perfect ending to any wrestling match this year. I shan't spoil it because I would love for people to go and check this out, give Stardom that boost. Because it was a great show, and this main event was tremendous stuff with, again, an ending that even for somebody who doesn't watch I'm not a entirely consistent Stardom viewer. I watch a lot of their stuff, but I don't watch every week or anything, or don't watch every show. Like, the ending made me cry. And that's with very little knowledge of who these wrestlers are, and just enough knowledge to know the story. If you're going to watch the match, I recommend you go online, and when you have no knowledge of Stardom, go online and look up a preview for it just to give you the story context, because it'll take it from a 4.5-star match to an easy 5. Just wonderful stuff.
And it's a long story,
Yeah.
very long story.
Yeah.
It's exactly how Bullet Club should end.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair dues.
That's like Bloodline storyline. Fuck that. Stardom, bro.
I think there's better storytelling, simple storytelling in this match than anything the Bloodline has done in the ring.
Oh, shit.
And they're 2 different stories, very different stories. But I prefer this kind of stuff as much as the Bloodline is unbelievable, as my number 3 attests to, of course.
David's gonna backhand Meltzer, like, give this the 6 stars, you bastard.
I mean, he gave it 4 3/4. No, I think it's an easy 5, but fair enough.
Yeah, if it was in the Tokyo Dome, we would have got 6.
yeah, maybe.
Corrigan Hall instead. How dare they?
Soul, what is your number 2, please?
I've said it.
Have you?
You really are losing.
I'm all over the place.
Just you, Chaos. It's just you.
Around.
Just
I need
you,
to
Chaos.
do it like
It's just
David,
you.
Soul, and Bobby. I'm trying to mix it up. Drizzy,
Just you, Chaos.
Is this me? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you diapers for all things. I feel like you're gonna piss the bed in your sleep or something like that.
No, I'm not. No. It's just because I'm trying to be like dynamic and just switch you up, and I get confused. So it's my fault. Anyway, my number 2 is Omega versus Ospreay at Forbidden Door. I think I'm the only one that's good, because the only reason I'm choosing this one because I haven't seen the first one. So this was my introduction to their rivalry, even though I knew that they faced each other in Wrestle Kingdom. But yeah, for some reason it takes a lot for me to watch New Japan. I don't know what it is, but yeah, this match was absolutely amazing. The atmosphere for it was electric. I love Will Ospreay. From it, I still have not fond memories, but I have like good memories of him against Orange Cassidy. I think that's like an underrated gem, to be fair. And yeah, this was great. And obviously, I think everyone just remembers the pedigree pile driver that he did to him. Obviously, it's the Tiger driver, or whatever. But yeah, it was still quite memorable, and I thought it's definitely worthy of being number 2. Is everyone done theirs now? Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
All right, let's move on
Yes,
to our
on to
number
number
one.
one. On to number one.
David, what's your number one?
My number one wrestling match of 2023. It has been mentioned by, I believe, all three of you, but I think it is the best wrestling match of 2023 from AEW Revolution, MJF versus Bryan Danielson. 60-minute Iron Man match. I think it is one of the most masterfully put together wrestling matches I have ever seen. I didn't feel that on the first viewing, and that's not to say that I still gave it 5 stars. It was still up there. But if we're watching it at 5 o'clock in the morning, you're not picking up the intricacies at 5 o'clock in the morning. On rewatch, I picked up so much of this. The fact that MJF wrestles both a heel and a face match, depending on how you look at it, because he's he for most of the match he wrestled, he's a heel, and the great spot of him, getting the low blow to get the 2 falls, but him wrestling, him being kind of hard done by in places, and kind of trying to go for that wrestling style and being able to beat Danielson at certain things, but then having to kind of feeling forced to resort back to his own, his original style of heel cheating. Just masterful from both guys. One of the best 2 pieces of acting I've ever seen in wrestling from in-match psychology. I like the build to this, by the way. I know it's been kind of, I like that because it gave us like Danielson versus Roosh and Danielson versus Bandido. Just gave us bangers on TV, which I'll never complain about. Unnecessary, possibly, but like I thought it was just an unbelievable, just beautiful. And people are going to have to work really, really hard this year to top it.
Yeah,
for me, just masterful stuff.
Fair dues. Soul, what is your number one? I'm curious about this one.
Number one, it was a hard thing, honestly. I looked at the list and I thought, I feel like this guy's done so much because he is the best wrestler in the world because, it's every Matt Cardona match. He's the best. He's the best, broski. Honestly, it's just all Matt Cardona matches. I'm sorry, I'm taking the piss. I'm taking the piss. It's Kenny versus Ospreay at Forbidden Door. Banger. Need more said.
Okay, fair dues. I was about to say, I was like, what? Really? Okay, cool.
I was about to go look through my notes like, hold on, what match did Cardona have?
we may be hearing from Cardona on a slightly different list of mine.
No, okay.
No.
Dear. Actually, I'm
Maybe.
surprised. Fair enough.
Maybe.
Drizzy, what's your number one, please?
My number one is the true number one from the best wrestler and should be wrestler of the year. Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew at WrestleMania. That match stole the entire pay-per-view. We've already spoken great things about it. Gunther should not have been in NXT as long as he was. He should have been instantly up there, just having bangers, and he hasn't had a bad one since he got there.
Yeah.
No.
In fairness to them, a lot of Gunther's NXT UK run was because he didn't want to move to America.
Yes.
So it did
true.
make things difficult, but
it's easy to just point fingers like you guys screwed up.
yeah.
It's like you WWE, you're screwing up. You're messing up.
Fair dues. I'm gonna wrap it up. And my number one is no one actually mentioned it, and it's something that's actually happened recently. Simply because from a storyline standpoint and just the atmosphere was awesome. And I'm gonna go with it's the Usos versus Solo, Sikoa, and Roman Reigns, the Bloodline Civil War at Money in the Bank. Oh boy, I had
to do some soul searching for that one.
Yeah, so what's sorry?
I had to do some soul searching for that one because if it was right after that pay-per-view, I'd agree with you. But
okay.
I had to really do some soul searching. It's like, do I like it more than I like these other matches? And no.
Fair enough. No, I thought just the and the promo package for it was great. Set the tone. Like I said, the atmosphere and the crowd was so creative with their chants. I mean, I haven't seen it back on TV. I don't know if they censored a lot of the chants, but there was a lot of creative chants from the UK crowd, and yeah, like Roman was just feeding off it. He was just like they were doing the Tottenham Hotspur chant where it was just like, what do we think of Tottenham? Shit. What do we think of shit? Tottenham. Thank you. That's all right. That one, but it did it with Roman Reigns instead. And he was just like, this crowd is stupid. All this kind of, it was just feeding off it. And yeah, the right team won, and yeah, everyone was just slapping it up, and it was just electric. That's all I can say. So from a storyline and a match standpoint, it didn't disappoint me. So that's why I put that as my number 1. Cool. That is our best top 10 list of matches so far. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that's going to probably be subject to change by the end of the year. So yeah, without further ado, let us just roll. Oh, quick honorable mentions. Anyone's got any?
Should I just run rapid? Should we just run rapid fire? My three honorable mentions for this would have been Omega versus Ospreay from Forbidden Door. Would have been Shingo Takagi versus Kazuchika Okada from New Japan. A New Beginning, one of the best performances Okada's ever given from a thing, and the Men's Elimination Chamber, which was just glorious fun.
Definitely.
Fair dues. So
I've got Vikingo versus Commander at Ring of Honor Supercard. I've got Eddie Kingston versus Kenta at Independence Day Night 2 for the New Japan Strong title. I've got the Great Muta's retirement matches, both the free man and the single one he had against Naito. I've also got 2 Scottish matches here as well. I've got Rio versus Molly Spartan at ICW Square 11th Go for the ICW Women's Championship. There's an iconic part of that where Rio's on the top balcony and gets booted off, hits the ring and everything.
Jesus.
Hell of a moment. That made me want to get her on the show. We talk about that. Check it out. Shameless plug. Yes, I know. Shut up. And I have also for the ICW World Championship in the freeweight dance, Andy Roberts, Leighton Buzzard, a big demo at Get the F Out. There was ICW's second show off the WWE Network, and it was a banger main event to put on as well with a cash in as well. So,
fair dues. Okay. Nice one. Drizzy, what's your honorable mentions?
I got 2. The Motor City Machine Guns versus Subculture on Impact.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Claudio and Eddie Kingston at Supercard.
Excellent match.
Oh, okay.
Excellent match.
Fair enough. My honorable mentions is the Men's Rumble. No, sorry, Zayn and Reigns, Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. At Elimination Chamber, the Men's Mania Showcase match at Mania.
Oh, so fun.
That was like, it had no business being that fun, but it was good.
Surprise our asses.
Yeah. Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at WrestleMania Night 1, and the Reach for the Sky ladder match for our Ring of Honor Supercard. The only reason it didn't make the list is because of the unfortunate ending with Dante Morton, obviously suffered a leg injury. But yeah, that was just freaking exciting. Beginning from start to finish. So yeah, that's all I mentions. Let us move over to our top 5 worst list, shall we? So yeah, let me just run the clip. There you go.
Quickly before we get into the worst, I'm going to switch drinks from a classy rum and coke to a beer.
Yeah, you're gonna need to.
And I'm going to switch from my glass of water to my glass of water.
Oh, oh God!
Switch to the dark stuff, huh? Switch to the dark stuff, huh?
Yeah, no, dark side. Yeah, definitely. All right, I'm gonna start.
Ooh.
I'm gonna start us off, and my number 5 is gonna be Seth Rollins versus Omos. Was it Backlash? Had no reason being there. Didn't make any sense. Absolute didn't do anything for anybody, but and since then I have not seen Omos, and thank goodness I haven't. Yeah, I just don't think it was so random. The fact that Rollins found out via Twitter and he was just like, oh, all right, cool. So that just shows how forced this was put. I really feel that this was Vince's idea. When he was slowly creeping into full power. Yeah, absolutely sucked the ass. So
I like that match. Just gonna throw it out there. I like that.
Okay. Fair enough. You give me 2%. What about you, David? What's your number 5, please?
Well, speaking of burning my bridges, to be honest, the rest of my picks are fairly easy, so kind of bottom of the barrel ones. This is my major hot take. My number 5 is Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar from Night of Champions. One of the most ridiculously stupidly booked matches I have ever seen in my life. Cody Rhodes sometimes sells the arm, sometimes doesn't.
Yeah,
gets locked in a Kimura, passes out from a Kimura, holds on to that Kimura for ages with a broken arm. If the arm is broken and the Kimura lock works, then he taps immediately or dies.
Yeah.
It's a Kimura. Or the other option is if it doesn't hurt him because of the cast. If that's the story they're telling, then he shouldn't be in the whole screaming in agony. He should just go, yeah, right, mate, keep going. Oh yeah, keep going. Yeah, go on, keep it in. Yeah, why not? I can do this all day.
Well, you see, David, the thing is, Cody Rhodes has the power of America on his side.
He has the power of America. Awful, really awful.
That's not a good power. We don't like good power.
And it's made worse because of how many people loved it. It just makes you more angry when you hate something that everybody else loves. Yeah, rubbish, complete rubbish.
Fair enough. I couldn't care less for that match either. Like the ending was a bit of a weird one. So yeah, I understand that. Drizzy, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is from the Royal Rumble, Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight.
Understandable.
Yeah. That match was strictly a Mountain Dew commercial.
Yeah. Definitely. So what's your number? Wait.
My number 5 is the worst match at WrestleMania. It was Brock Lesnar versus Omos. This was dumb shit, a waste of time, and I honestly, why?
I must be the only Omos fan. I like the match with Brock as well.
You're the only Omos fan.
Even it's confirmed new Sapien. Man loves him.
I love
Omos. I love Omos. I just couldn't put it in my heart to have him on anybody's worst wrestling list. It's a whole lot better just to say like he didn't wrestle.
He's a good man in my book. I love the dude. But
the best part was Brock Lesnar's entrance. That's all I remember. It was great seeing Brock Lesnar's entrance at Mania, but that was about it. So yeah. Good luck.
You said you was Chaos, or do you need a reminder again? You okay?
No. I've done mine. I'm pretty sure I did mine.
Yes, we're all done. We're all done.
Before I forget, I'm gonna go next. My number 4 is Austin Theory versus John Cena at WrestleMania Night 1. This did absolutely nothing for Theory other than he got absolutely buried to hell like 3 weeks out from Mania, and he never recovered from it. And he tried to put on this whatever match it was. It was very formulaic. Cena. Like we was there, and you could see him audibly on the screen calling out moves on the screen. Something he didn't really care. It was to the point where he didn't bother to even tan. The guy was pale as anything. He did not care for this match, and he just did not care for Theory. And he's pretty much said it in numerous interviews that he does not care for Theory. So it wasn't a great start to the WrestleMania weekend, but yeah, it is what it is. He got a paycheck out of it. David, what's your number 4?
Well, this starts my 4, 3, and 2 of matches that probably I'm the only person who's heard of. At 4, we have Chessman versus Vampiro from AAA's Triple Mania. Not only a match that is unfathomably boring, that goes on for ages and ages and ages. It's made worse because, unfortunately, I do believe Vampiro has a form of Alzheimer's and should not have been wrestling in this capacity. There's a certain point where Chessman hits him with a move and Vampiro just leaves the ring and walks off because he's just like, yeah, no, you're all right, mate. Either he forgets he's supposed to sell or he just can't be bothered to sell. It's sad because that's the same show that has Vikingo versus Commander versus Rich Swann versus Swerve Strickland on it, which is an awesome main event. Unfortunately, this is the match I remember from it. It's just it is the most boring match I've seen all year.
I've got to say this now, Chaos. If I get you Triple Mania tickets for your birthday, would you hate me?
Yes. Yeah, I would. I love you, but I hate you at the same time.
Hey, Triple Mania be having some great matches. It's just that they're also saddled with some of the worst matches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So you're either going to be entertained from the wrestling or you're going to be entertained because of how bad it is.
I would have been more entertained by this match if I knew that the guy that one of the participants should not have been in the ring. That always makes it harder to kind of laugh at. Even you don't even get the comedy factor out of this. It's just sad.
Has to stop wrestling. He has to.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Drizzy, what's your number 4, please?
My number 4 is Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter at Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing.
The match shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't.
I understand they don't want to do another interim champion thing, but this was not the way to go about it. If she physically cannot wrestle, you have to vacate. They literally a squash match for a women's title match on a pay-per-view. This was not the thing to do.
And it was like it kind of built Tony Storm cold because like no one was really believing that Tony Storm was going to be winning already. Like it was just like a throwaway match, in my opinion, anyway. I before that I was totally banking on Jamie Hayter to win until afterwards I realized that she was carrying an injury. So
And what makes it worse is their last match was the best match on
yes,
the last card.
yeah.
So
Yeah. It was really weird. But yeah, fair spot. So what is your number 4, please?
My number 4 is from the Royal Rumble, dumbass pay-per-view. I hate it. Is Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship.
Oh my god, I forgot that happened.
Completely forgot that happened.
Wow.
Forgot that was a thing.
First off, I thought this was the weakest match in Bianca's whole reign. And the whole shit with Alexa Bliss afterwards. Sit in the ring looking absolutely like a fucking Barbie doll. And then Bray's spooky imagery comes up like a goddamn Rorschach test. Ooh, you're gonna go back into the Fiend's sidekick. Ooh. And then she was just like, oh, shit. Bring out the Lily doll. You're gonna sell the merch. You gotta sell the merch. I just
Yeah.
wow. She's had such a fall from grace. Like, remember when she had like the whole blue intro as well, and was like the goddess and all that kind of thing. And then ever since she went, like
just the Thunderdome.
Yeah, with Thunderdome and Chucky.
Thunderdome messed her up, and then she's
like the only memorable thing I think of that is when she pinned Randy Orton and his wife got pissy on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I just say I really hope that Alexa's maternity leave gives her a chance to come back with a refresh.
Oh yeah,
she's also had a bad break with a lot of injuries too, between concussions.
Yes. Yeah,
I think she had a form of skin cancer too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. I'm hoping that everything's just okay with her.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously she's been she announced she's pregnant. So I totally expect her to come by the Royal Rumble and win the whole thing as well, definitely, because that's how pregnancy works. Just come straight after you see to give birth right into the ring. That's how it works.
That maternity leave is paying off.
Moving on to number 3. Okay, number 3. All right, I'm gonna go first. My one, I don't think anyone has this on their list, but it's actually gonna be Hobbs versus Wardlow, where at the episode of Dynamite where Hobbs won the championship. Absolute dire. Like I'm sorry, I hate QT Marshall. The ending was absolutely just dire. It didn't make any sense for Hobbs to be even associated with him in the first place. I would have been happy that Hobbs won it, but obviously this was during the time where it was like hot potatoing everywhere, and there was no definitive champion, and the way that Hobbs won it just absolutely left a huge sour taste in my mouth, and he hasn't really benefited from that at all, even after losing it, and now obviously he's breaking ties with QT Marshall, but yeah, that whole thing was just sloppy as well, some parts. But yeah, that's my top 3, my third worst match. David, what's your number 3, please?
Very, very quick story here. Back on January the 1st, I decided that I was going to watch a show because there's not usually a lot of wrestling on January the 1st, and I saw that there was a GCW show. So I thought, wonderful, I'll watch a GCW show. Main evented by the GCW Rumble, which was fairly fun. But I missed most of the show because I got the start time wrong. So the very first match that I saw in 2023 was Madman Pondo versus Matt Tremont in a death match. And it is my number 3 worst match of the year. There it is. There it is. I don't really know who the guy is. But this is the start of my kind of dislike for this is one of 2 examples of my dislike for deathmatch wrestling, particularly bad deathmatch wrestling. This was 2 old guys wandering about, hitting each other very, very, very slowly. And then they do some absolute contrived nonsense with light tubes and then walk around and brawl some more. And then there's a bowling ball involved. And then stuff happens. Someone gets thrown into a bin. And it's like, there is some like fun enough nonsense to be had here. Like, if you want to look at it that way. But I was like, for my first match of the year, I was just watching it, just like reconsidering all my life decisions. It wasn't offensive. It was just a bit sad and very crap.
David standing in the shower, head there with the water running, looking at why are you causing so much misery in my life?
My word. Fair enough. Fair enough. Drizzy, what's your number 3, please?
My number 3,
Number 3?
Jade Cargill versus Chris Statlander at Double or Nothing.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
know it's more of a moment than a match, but we didn't have to do that. At least not then and there. Coincidentally, it's probably one of the better AEW moments, but as a match, no.
I feel like like they could have done like a full match. I hate the fact that Jade Cargill loses it after such like that way in such a streak. Like it was almost like a Money in the Bank cash in. I feel like they could have done an actual match.
Yeah, it's Honky Tonk versus Warrior booking. Only Honky Tonk was a cowardly heel getting his comeuppance. Jade Cargill was a very dominant heel getting very, very easily beaten by somebody, especially after beating Taya Valkyrie in what essentially was like it was a good match, but a match that it wasn't like wasn't Walter Dragunov levels of brutality, was it? She won fairly handily and then just lost.
But it's also one of Jade's better matches.
Yeah,
it is.
100%.
It is because Taya's great and Jade can work when she wants to.
I can't badmouth AEW matches because I met Tony Khan. He was nice to me, and if I do, he'll take my championships away. So I can't have that.
Fair dues, understand. What about you, Saul? What's your number 3, please?
My number 3 was a match that went for a total of 1 minute 20. Literally, this match was starting. I went and made popcorn, and the popcorn finished after the match had finished, and I was a bit gobsmacked. And this was Rhea Ripley versus Natalya for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Champions.
Yeah.
I hate this. Why? The fact that your match went less than goddamn butterkissed salted popcorn.
On her birthday as well, no less.
Oh.
I can't hate that match. I watched it at a watch party, and the laughter that came from that was too funny.
Do you think Brett stood up and went, "This is Goldberg's fault somehow"?
Yeah, probably. That was like completely thrown together. I feel really bad for Natalya. I mean, Charlotte, obviously, she made up for it later down the line. That match that they had on Raw was great. It was great.
I haven't seen it yet.
Sorry?
I said I haven't seen it yet. I've been on holiday.
Oh, fair enough.
Priorities, Chaos. Priorities, for fuck's sake.
No, but yeah, that at that time I was just like, what was the point of even having this? It just didn't make any sense. So I totally get that. All right, moving on to number 2.
Number 2, I'm going to take the jacket off because these two got me heated as fuck.
Okay, fair dues. All right, I'll go first. My second match is unfortunately an AEW match. Sorry, Soul.
For fuck's sake.
And it is Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole in the unsanctioned match at Double or Nothing. Boy, was this a slog. I didn't like this feud from the get-go. Did nothing for Cole. I don't think it barely did anything for Jericho except just keep him being relevant. Just the ending was completely just tiresome. And then obviously after that, it just did nothing for anybody. So I'll just keep it short and sweet. It was just a whatever match. I wish it never happened. Sure, it was on section, so technically it didn't happen, but yeah, I just didn't want it to be part of my TV screen.
I'm going to jump in too because that was my number 2.
Oh, fair news. What, any additional notes or that's it?
It for them to be everybody can't work matches like that, and apparently those two just can't. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't work.
I really like that match.
It was an honorable mention of mine.
Fair news.
Slow and boring.
All right, what's your actual number 2 then, David?
My number 2, again, I hate that. I don't completely hate deathmatch wrestling, but this one is especially irksome. From XPW, Here Comes Revenge. It's Big Joe versus The Body. This match.
You found something worse than that?
Well, there's a match that personally hurt me more, which I'll get to.
God.
This was like it's for anyone who doesn't know. This went viral for a spot in which a syringe was attached to a penis. That's not the worst part of this match for me. I mean, it definitely probably is, but like I think it's a rubbish death match. There are a couple of two cool spots in there, but for the most part, it's a rubbish death match. But what really irked it for me was the commentary. Weirdly, because if you listen to the commentary, it is awkward, it is sexist, it is homophobic. They just take every opportunity they can to just be crude and nasty. And because I don't think they know what else to do with somebody getting, having their trousers pulled down and a syringe attached to their male areas. It's like it's the worst of it's everything that deathmatch wrestling is stereotyped to be.
Mhm.
It is a group of people that think they're being edgy, from the commentary to the ring announcer to the pre-match promo to everything. It is them thinking that they are so edgy and so ECW and so new. In reality, they are just. I would like this to please all of this style of stuff to go away and never come back.
Welcome to XPW.
Fuck it.
So basically, the XPW, the owner of XPW, pretty much deserves this. Basically,
Yes,
He would find a way to try to make money off of it.
yeah.
Just like I mean, I can imagine there's like one guy in the crowd's like, "This is wrestling."
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Dumbass
Been-
bastards.
Anyway, number 2. What is your number 2, Soul? Please.
Second,
Oh, here we go. Oh yeah,
take a
he's
sip
heating
for
now.
that
Here we go.
one. Yeah, take a sip for that one.
this was a match at Elimination Chamber.
Oh.
Two guys that everyone's wanted to see wrestle. And I thought every time they've matched up, they've been utter fucking bollocks to the wall shite. That is Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley.
Oh yeah.
Forgot that happened. Forgot that happened, lads.
That is an honorable mention.
You can hear the accent coming out. I fucking despise these two bastards wrestling. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. I can't take it anymore. They're utter shit. Everyone was like, this is the dream match of the century. We're going to get Lesnar versus Lashley. And every time they've done it, Brock has been going for his nuts like Shinsuke against AJ. What the hell is that shit? And they just can't work together. And then it led to the whole Bray Wyatt shtick that never happened because Bray was like, I want to wrestle the big man. And then it's like, bro, shut up. You were in an advertisement for a beverage that makes people lose their bowel motions.
You're getting Bobby and be happy with it.
Wow.
I just hate these shit. And these two should never wrestle each other ever again.
No, I agree. It's such a shambles. I don't know who was in charge of creative on that, but yeah, they
Triple
just
H.
popped up. Maybe so. Yeah, I don't know why he thought that was a good idea. It really felt like they just didn't really want to wrestle each other, even though they were both clamoring for it. Like it didn't make
Things like this only work when both are willing to work together.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, one of them didn't want to do business, and we all know who it is.
yeah. It's true.
Fucking Lesnar.
All right, let's round it off for our number 1. All right, so I'm gonna just round it off. My number 1 is already been mentioned, but it was that much of a stinker. It just nothing has so far has beaten it, and it is LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt in the Mountain Dew match. Like you say, it was just an advertisement. And just as soon as I saw the table spot and all them Skittles all popped out underneath, I was just like, they've jumped the shark on this one, and then a botched elbow drop from the top. I don't know what it was from Uncle Howdy. Nothing since then. And then LA Knight has not made a mention of it since. So that just shows how dire that situation was. Feel bad for LA Knight. I'm sure he got a good paycheck out of it, but yeah, it is what it is.
I might as well go next because that's my number 1 as well because I fucking hate that shit. Literally, honestly, hang on one second.
Oh, here we go. Rant number 2.
What the fuck is Bray Wyatt doing? Seriously? I mean, I know he's off right now with health issues and all that, and I think fully understandable, but it doesn't excuse the body of work that came before it, and you can critique it. If I was Triple H and Bray comes to me, he's like, he's healthy and come back, I give him 2 options. Bray, you either go back as the Fiend, do that, you come Monster heel, you have Schism as your underlings, and you do stuff, or you're released. Because the man needs ringed in control, because how much fucking build was there for this shit? That it was basically him cutting promos. He had one televised match, and a bunch of house show matches against the Hinder. What's the point? The fact that into that match, LA Knight came out of it the better man. Look how over he is now. And he was in that. And now like even Uncle Howdy, he missed the elbow. The
Yeah.
man had 20% accuracy and missed. Yes, and like I loved Bray as the Fiend. I thought it was so intriguing and dragging you in with the Firefly Funhouse and all the stuff and all. I thought it was great. But sometimes some people need controlled. You need to be told, hey, you need to bring it back. You need to bring all your things in. It was so much lore and all this pish that went nowhere. Uncle Howdy, the whole trying to be the real me thing, and then the thing with Alexa Bliss. It was like I rewatched his debut at Extreme Rules. The pop for the Fiend was louder, I think, than the pop for Bray. Because look, if you go back to the Fiend, everyone would say, I love the Fiend, I love the Fiend. They would never say, I love Bray Wyatt, who's the Fiend. The Fiend was over. Well, Bray Wyatt was not.
Would I be able to jump in here, because it is also my number one, but this hurt me so much more. Yeah, Bray Wyatt is my all-time favorite wrestler. I owe my entire wrestling fandom to Bray. Every time Bray is the cult leader gimmick brought me back the first time. The Fiend brought me back the second time. Bray, he's been such an integral. I cried when he came back. I stayed up late specifically so I could watch it. I loved the QR codes. I loved the White Rabbit.
Great.
I loved the early promo work. And and then it started to fall off the rails. But I was like, it's okay. We've still got, we're still just about there. Didn't get Uncle Howdy, whatever. And this was what I got. This was the reason I put this below the death match. Even the death match is probably worse. This was the match that broke me. I sat there and I watched this, and I didn't feel angry. I felt so sad, because I was looking at it going, this is so rubbish, and this is so just rinky-dink crap with all of it. It's just dismally bad. The match is dismal. The post-match angle is dismal. It's all dismal, but it hurts so much more because I love Bray. And all I wish is the best of success for the man. And I really hope he gets it back, because right now, I'm close to tears talking about it now. And it sounds so nerdy, but really, it like Bray means everything to me as a wrestling fan.
He's got a great mind.
And it was the match that just made me so depressed. And that's why it's number one.
Absolutely agree, mate. Honestly, 100%. It's a shame. He's such a great mind, but stuff he's doing.
It doesn't make sense.
There is a such thing as too much creativity.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's going. I'm rounding off. Drizzy, what's your number one, please?
My number one is a bit of a two-parter, because it is both of the Miz matches at WrestleMania.
Fair enough.
Equally as bad. Even though it's like 3 matches technically. So you have The Miz and Pat McAfee, horrible. The Miz and Shane McMahon, who hurt himself doing his own moveset.
Himself and everybody else with him.
The Miz versus Snoop Dogg. All horrible matches.
Yeah. That makes sense. I forgot that even happened, especially one with McAfee. Oh my gosh.
The brain tries to block out traumatic experiences like that.
Yeah, 100%. And the worst people's elbow ever. The guy was floating, like flapping around like a salmon, got bouncing off them ropes. My word. Okay, cool. And any honorable mentions quickly?
I'll go quick. I've got Edge and Beth versus Judgment Day Elimination Chamber. Brock Lesnar versus Cody United and Champions. The Embassy versus Blake Christian, AR Fox and Metalik at the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. Women's Showcase tag match at WrestleMania Night 32. And I don't think anyone will have this. If they do, that's surprising. Omos versus Mustafa Ali, the Raw after WrestleMania, which we were there for. It was honestly just a shit show. That's me. Quick.
Fair enough. My three are Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole for Double or Nothing. Said my piece on that. Anna Jay versus Julia Hart. No holds barred from Dynamite. It's a boring match, and then they fuck up the finish because they go for a superplex onto the chairs and completely miss the chairs.
Yeah.
And then Matt Cardona versus Tyrus from NWA. Enough said. It's two guys. It's Tyrus is rubbish, of course, but the match is backwards because nobody knows neither man can work a face heel dynamic properly because Tyrus is the fucking baby face, and they just go. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Bubba Ray's involved. It's all a big mess, and that's the main event of your show. Awful.
Fair dues. Drizzy?
Oh, Tyrus, you dodged me for an interview. Sorry, I had to say it.
None we've done. We actually talked about all my honorable mentions. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, fair enough. My one is actually a non-wrestling match because I couldn't really think of any other options. And it was the Hardy performance at the Royal Rumble. I think it came just after the Royal Rumble match, and it was an awful performance from I think it's like a rock star. Or
Oh yes,
country
it was
singer or
very
whatever.
bad, wasn't it? Very, very,
Yeah,
very, very
Hardy.
bad. Awful.
Yeah, absolutely
Oh,
terrible.
oh dear.
That was an eyesore. Didn't make any sense why it was there, and yeah, that's all I got on that. So yeah, we've come to the end of the show, guys. That is our top 10 best, and our top 5 worst matches of the year so far. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you agree, what are your top 10 and top 5 worst matches of the year? Yeah, this is thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, Soul. Thank you very much, Drizzy, for joining us on this awesome show.
Thank you, new
And
people. Pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you, regulars.
Cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
let me get my plugs in. I need my plugs.
go on,
Please.
quick, Soul, quick.
Okay, so basically, Soul Sessions is wrapping up right now because I will announce right now. Episode 5 tomorrow will be with the ICW Zero G champion Jason Reed. Talks about winning the title, what it means, and honor the great Lionheart who sadly passed away in 2019 and honoring his legacy. But for the Soul Sessions, right now, with episode 55, I have episodes recorded up to episode 65. So another 10 episodes are already recorded. I've been working my ass off. The suit's sweaty as shit, but I'm getting there.
Put that work in. Don't worry. We love you for it. So yeah, make sure you go and watch those episodes on the Soul Sessions and subscribe to the channel as well. Does awesome work as always. Other than that, I have been your host, Chaos. He has been David. Down below has been Soul. Down there has been Drizzy. Until next time, guys. Peace.